Today we're reviewing a Grenade Launcher and Pacifier loadout from Iceman 1 Actual, who's running a duo with his buddy Static Frog against the Terminists. We'll walk through highlights of his gameplay, break down key moments, and talk about how to get the most out of his loadout. Then I'll share a few tweaks on how I improve it personally and show you the version I've been testing myself. By the end, you'll have 5 guidelines on playing Iceman's loadout and 5 on playing mine, so you can maximize the spread of democracy in your Helldives. Enjoy. Alright everybody, welcome back. We're looking at one of my favorite players, Iceman 1 Actual. So let's talk about Iceman's loadout. He has a Pacifier Ultimatum. He's got gas grenades, grenade launcher, supply backpack, machine gun sentry, Tesla tower, a light siege ready armor. And I believe it's probably a vitality enhancement. I'm not really sure about the booster. However, you know, I think this is a really nice loadout, especially for the cityscape. We're going to have a lot of combat here on this difficulty 10 mission. It's going to feel like it never really slows down a whole lot. So I will be cutting out highlights of this gameplay to shorten it, just so you guys can really get the full benefit of how to play this loadout and how to incorporate it in your games. I need to start by saying that I have a personal vendetta against the supply pack, and if you know me, I freaking hate the thing. I think it's overpowered and it's too forgiving, and it ruins the fun that we have in a lot of these games. And it ruins mistakes that you make on the battlefield. So this supply pack does work with this loadout. I think it's well-rounded. It gives a lot of forgiveness and a lot of ammo capacity for his grenade launcher and for the Ultimatum. That combination works really well together. And it also allows Iceman to throw gas grenades more frivolously. So that's really the first commandment of this loadout, is to be frivolous with your grenade launcher, with your Ultimatum, and with your gas grenades, because the supply pack allows such a thing. As we do have a bug breach coming out in the middle of a nest, so this is going to be rather fun and interesting. It's going to share the containment of the bug breaches, the Tesla tower and the grenade launcher. They're both going to can do the same thing here, and so he's throwing the Tesla tower out to help contain a little bit of this bug breach, and using the grenade launcher to close these bug holes. If he weren't in a nest, he could theoretically use the Tesla tower more frivolously. And I think Frog also has a Tesla tower, so we're running 2 Tesla towers in this duo, which I think is really interesting that neither of them are running a anti-electricity type of armor set, because with 2 Tesla towers, I mean, accidents do happen. Look at that bad boy. This range is sneakily long. The second thing that I want to highlight about this build is, and the second tip, is to sync your fire with the fire of your machine gun sentry. The machine gun sentry should really act as a scout and a secondary teammate to tell you where to shoot the grenade launcher. Complement the damage here, because the machine gun sentry doesn't necessarily put out that much damage. However, the visual cues tell you where the enemies are, so it would allow Iceman Actual to get more value out of the grenade launcher. As we go into another small nest here with some gas grenades, the machine gun sentry out on the corner of it. I would prefer Iceman to really just throw the machine gun sentry effectively off of cooldown to draw aggro for him and to tell him where these enemies are before they get too close, because the downside of using the grenade launcher is you don't want enemies too close, because this happens. You damage yourself, you ragdoll, you end up getting slashed to death because you're engaging from too close of a distance and sneaking up behind him as a commander. My loadout doesn't have the same problems that this one has as he gets hit in the back. There's gonna be a very nice defense on my loadout that I'll cover a little bit later.
I cannot reload.
I like that Iceman's using the Tesla tower in the middle of the nest here to clear out the stragglers that come out of the bug holes, but we do eventually have to close those bug holes. T1 out of Static Frog is out of stems, so this is going to be the third tip. Because you're running supply pack here, you really have to watch your partners and make sure that they're up to date on their stems. The best thing about the supply pack is the team...
Oh no, I'm dead.
Wow, we're just getting eaten alive here. See, yeah. Gas grenades are much needed for maintaining distance from these Terminids. It's going to be very easy to get surrounded here with this loadout. This is why Iceman just needs to be a little bit more aggressive with throwing his gas grenades, and nice stem on Static Frog here. I would like to see a gift of stems. However, we do have a resupply coming down, so all in all, no harm, no foul. And as we discussed earlier, the real containment of bug breaches is going to be the grenade launcher. Going next to his... I like this a lot. Moving back, going next to his machine gun sentry, didn't want to get team killed or self-killed by the machine gun sentry as the Gatling sentry goes down a little bit closer. I would have liked to see Static Frog throw the Gatling sentry further back. When I did playtest this, I had a teammate that ran flamethrower, so I couldn't really use the machine gun sentry close to bug breaches.
He just did a 180 on you. I saw it.
One impaler ahead here. Gonna get shredded by the Gatling sentry as Static Frog. With a cordless rifle against a charger, gonna handle that threat. I like the machine gun sentry going down early before we get into an engagement. The next tip I have for running this is that if you shoot the pacifier, just empty the clip. We have 10 clips in this bad boy, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage anyways. Empty the clip with the supply pack. There is no point in leaving a half of a clip in the chamber and saving it, because you're going to do about 15 damage with those 10 bullets. Same really kind of goes for a grenade launcher, but that is the next tip for running the loadout that Iceman Actual is running. Ending up some bug holes as we have a bug breach coming out in the forefront of this engagement. The last tip I have for this loadout that Iceman's running is I think that light armor is effectively required. Because my version runs something that either has movement or self-defense. I run heavy armor with it, but because he doesn't have this, we really need to create distance, so light armor is almost a necessity here.
Oh, you got a Tesla right there.
So let's get into my version of the loadout that differs and improves, or maybe doesn't improve, it's your opinion, on what Iceman runs. I have the pacifier, then I have Ultimatum, and I actually swapped the gas grenades for thermite grenades. Then I think that the supply pack can go 3 different ways. In my version, I have the Guard Dog Rover, which I'll cover why I chose that. But I think you can also use a jump pack or a hover pack with the grenade launcher, and that's to maintain distance, because my version uses a heavy armor. I just prefer using heavy armor. I like it. I like the forgiveness of it. I'm not quite as slippery or as mobile as some of the people that we may be commentating over. Then I still want to maintain the overall style of this loadout, so we're, grenade launcher, Tesla tower, and the machine gun sentry. So those are the things that I use in my loadout. I think that it's a lot more fun, but I think the Guard Dog Rover creates some additional assistance that slightly changes the playstyle, and I'll talk about that right now. Frog goes down. But I think the Guard Dog, normally I prefer it. It's a medium penetration weapon. However, the pacifier and grenade launcher are both medium pen. And so I went with the Rover because it provides better visual cues on when you're getting surrounded. So the general rule for my loadout is that shoot with your grenade launcher wherever your machine gun sentry is shooting, throw it further out, use it as a scout, and defend it with your life. Secondly, shoot your pacifier wherever the Guard Dog Rover is shooting. This helps keeps you from getting surrounded and neutralizes the drawbacks of using heavy armor in this case. I do use the extra armor and the reload speed armor. I think that's a really nice touch for this particular loadout, and you need it especially since we're not running supply pack. But the other change I made was I found once you took off the supply pack, I found the anti-tank very underwhelming. So I suggest using thermite grenades to just patch that small hole in the anti-tank section of this loadout. All in all, you're provided with a really well-rounded loadout. I think you can also have a ton of fun with the jump pack or the hover pack to get high ground. Both of them pair really well with the grenade launcher. Oh, we're going to be into close quarters here on this LiDAR station. We're going to see how the pacifier uses, a nice space created with the grenade launcher here. Notice that Iceman pivoted to the right, creating a longer distance between him and the Terminids here, while the gas grenade provided cover and confusion for him. I really like the way he played that. As the LiDAR station is coming up to speed, and we're able to get a full view of the map and what's left for us, as we have 3 magazines left with the pacifier. That's the one thing, is that we're not running the supply pack. You're going to be a little bit ammo hungry no matter what you do. Double Tesla towers here. Scary for me. Got to be really careful of not getting killed on these. That's really one of the rules. It should be like the 6th rule, is don't get killed by the Tesla towers. But that should go without saying. Bug breach out right now. I love that Iceman's using the Machine Gun Sentry on cooldown. And gonna close a couple of bug holes as the bugs come out of that breach. I would really like to see Iceman use this grenade launcher to help contain these bugs before they get too spread out. And yeah, okay, this is great. This is going to be just a really nice way to contain these breaches while these bugs are in such a tight circle before they get too free and they roam too far away from home. I think my last tip with running my version of the loadout without the supply pack is that, I think this is the most important tip, is that you really need to pace the fire rate of the grenade launcher, because you only have so many grenades here, and it's very common to run out of grenades in the grenade launcher. Probably fire at about 50% of the pace that you would normally fire at. I think that you probably maintain 80% of the damage and conserve half of the ammunition in that case. All in all, I would love to see you guys try out either this loadout or my loadout, and in the comments please tell me how it fared, what you liked, what you didn't like. I think, not running supply pack, it is almost guaranteed you're going to want to run thermites here. Or if you wanted to be a lot more, different than what this loadout is, you can swap Tesla Tower out for the 500 kg or some other anti-tank stratagem. However, I wanted to maintain the overall feeling of what Iceman put together here. Iceman going to regroup with Frog here as the Machine Gun Sentry comes down. We're going to handle a couple of critters out in front as he threw down 2 gas grenades and utilizing Grenade Launcher and Pacifier here. All sections of this loadout really nicely. Cleaning up a couple of things, defending a Static Frog, which I love that. This loadout really shines when you defend your teammates, given the Pacifier does a little bit of stun, so it's going to keep those enemies off of your squad and also off of yourself. I think that's the biggest difference between how the Pacifier is currently used in the community versus how it should be used. Is it is primarily a teammate/turret defending weapon, not necessarily something you can expect to deal out a ton of damage. So it pairs a lot better with stratagems that do more damage versus ones that have crowd control. I like that we're getting some close range combat with the Pacifier. Notice how quickly this ammunition goes down. So it is important to be mindful of your ammo with all of your weapons of this loadout: Grenade Launcher, Pacifier, and Ultimatum, because you're going to need all 3 in different scenarios here. Notice how quickly this ammunition on the Pacifier goes from 10 clips to 3. I mean, it is rather unforgiving from a capacity standpoint, because it takes 1 clip per enemy. My Guard Dog Rover really supplements the lack of damage on the Pacifier. While we're getting the stopping power of the Pacifier, the Rover is able to help my loadout maintain less of an ammo bleed. Nice on Static Frog taking out the illegal broadcast as we re-up the ammunition on our Pacifier, and this bug breach comes out behind us. I can't remember if he threw down a Tesla Tower. I would like to have seen that, though. If he did not, we do have a data upload coming up, and we are getting very close to extraction and going home. Picking up this data upload. Frog is going to call an extraction. Bile Titan is in the distance somewhere, so there could be a Bile Titan coming right up on our friend Iceman Actual here soon. The Bile Titan I was talking about, going to be sandwiched between an Ultimatum and another bad decision. Going to tank one Ultimatum. Iceman Actual, a little bit long throw here on that one, but able to hit the second one, still double tanking. Luckily we have supply packs, so a lot of Ultimatum still left in the tank should Iceman decide to use it. However, we all knew that Bile Titan was very close to death, so I applaud Iceman for conserving the Ultimatum here. I would like to see him reach into supply backpack just to get one Ultimatum in the chamber. You never know when a charger is going to come up and it is unloaded and you end up getting run over. Resupply and picking it up on the way to this Bile Titan. Static Frog with a recoilless rifle to the face of the Bile Titan. Bile Titan taking 2 recoilless rifle shots at this point as he is demolishing Siege soldiers. 3rd time's a charm, am I right? Iceman, you're murdering Siege. How dare you? This should be a war crime and you should be imprisoned. Static Frog getting surrounded by a couple of friendlies. Not friendlies, a couple of enemies. Machine Gun Sentry up on the high ground, gonna do... Whoa, where did this Alpha Commander come from? It doesn't quite matter. Quite surprising to me. However, a short life to live for the Alpha Commander. Well, I'd like to see Iceman continue to use the high ground to protect Static Frog. And overall, I think my major critique on the way Iceman played this loadout was that I would have liked to see him stick a little bit closer to Static Frog because he has such great team support and good coverage in this duo. Now, I know they play together all the time and they've agreed to split up in certain times of this game. However, one takeaway for when you're playing your game is you're really playing a support role. You're not necessarily the king of the castle here. You're not the LeBron James of this team. You are just help protect your teammates. I think that's the main benefit of using this. Bug breach. Out ahead, gas grenade on top of the bug breach. Really love that a lot. It's going to help confuse and slow down the attack from the Terminids here. Some streakers on the left side. I would like to see a Tesla tower come down now. Read my mind. Yeah, one Tesla tower down to help contain this bug breach. And the machine gun sentry coming up cooldown, going down. Yeah, this is great. This is really great. The only other thing I would do here is shoot the grenade launcher into the loadout, into the bug breach, where it would contain some of the bugs coming out of it. However, that Tesla tower is positioned really well behind cover, behind the side of this building. And forget everything I just said, I was very incorrect here. The double Tesla towers are just so strong. No need to focus any grenades here. You can spend that time instead utilizing the pacifier to protect Static Frog. Yeah, this is great. This is really great. This is where the pacifier comes in. You see Static Frog able to create distance and run away, not taking any damage, when he otherwise would have gotten overwhelmed if Iceman Actual would have come to the rescue here. You hear Battle Titan in the distance, as we have, you know, not quite that far of a distance, but it doesn't matter. Very close range, recoilless rifle, Static Frog to the face of that Battle Titan, as we have a Thief just ahead of us, throwing a grenade like a girl. And the ultimatum out for the Impaler. Hello, goodbye, sir. Machine Gun Sentry off cooldown now, as we're going to clear this nest before we go to the house. Machine Gun Sentry down for the team. Hopefully, going to clear that hole before the Machine Gun Sentry goes down, and he does. So we are about 4 out of 9 bug holes closed here to clean this. Yeah, protecting this Machine Gun Sentry is very important. Not able to do so, but I do applaud the effort from Iceman Actual here. I'm going to wrap around and go with Static Frog. I love that. Covering the backside of Static Frog here, keeping Static from getting into a really ugly situation. The team play here from Iceman Actual over the last several minutes has been very great. Utilizing the gas grenades. I think you could throw probably one more gas grenade out to cover Static Frog. However, opting to close the bug hole instead is where I have one more bug hole to close here for this nest. We got a couple spewers just ahead, running away, creating distance like this. Utilizing the grenade launcher to take those threats out. Over the pacifier, great choice. Pacifier would have taken about 15 clips to take those spewers out, so I do really like the idea of using the grenade launcher. One Tesla tower out to the left, and this nest looks like we're going to clean it up just fine. We're going home as the Battle Titan pukes on our lovely turret here, and Static Frog going to utilize the... We didn't need to use the Ultimatum and another recoilless rifle. However, we just wanted to make sure that that Battle Titan got the message. This is perfect for grenade launcher here. What are we doing? Come on. Come on, Iceman. Oh, Tesla Tower's going to handle it. Never mind. I didn't see the Tesla Tower coming out. So, perfect use. Yeah, this is great. Going to defend the Tesla Tower with the pacifier as the tower gets tons of value. Double Tesla Tower. Yeah, this is great. I actually think that if they were to change this up, they should pace their Tesla Towers so there's out one at a time instead of two at the same time. There's a lot of overlap with the damage here, and it's very easy for a charger to take out two of these towers, for example. If they were to time it where, hey, I'm throwing mine down and you're throwing yours down, then it's unlikely that... It's likely you're going to have more total Tesla uptime. Defend this Tesla tower, please, sir. Well, didn't necessarily need to. But overall,
So many dead bodies.
really great gameplay from Iceman 1 Actual. I hope you guys really appreciated it. If you would like to be featured on my channel, please just drop a gameplay in the comment section with a nice loadout. I'm happy to do commentaries over different players. I only cover difficulty 10 for now because that's what people want to see. But I'm always looking for new blood to critique and to do commentaries over. I love doing this, so.
Oh, you almost smacked you.
Almost.
Thank you so much for the support, everybody. I started this channel about a month ago. I already have a lot of support. Like my subscribe to my like share with friends. Very small.
All right.
Creator. Hoping to rapidly.
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle
Through the
launch in
plane.
20 seconds.
Smoke.
Complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.